All right, welcome back, class. So, this is another S3 Human Sciences class. This time, we're going to talk about, we're going to continue our discussion of architecture in ancient Rome. So, this is part 3. Let me just go back to uh, our discussion of Roman roads. The Roman road system was so important because of for several reasons. One, it facilitated trade, so it made trade within the empire possible. It made it easier. So you can imagine a large empire with, you know, with a great population. You can imagine that people had needs, so it was important that people could trade to buy and sell goods. So if you had roads, then trade would be easier. Then you could, it's possible for you to, it would be possible for you to more easily bring goods to people, and it would be easier for people to get certain goods or products. Okay. It also connected different parts of the empire, different cities, different areas. So you could say that the road system ensured or promoted unity among Romans, among, the different Romans living in various parts of the empire. Thirdly, a third reason is that given that the military, remember that what they did was to march. If you were a legionnaire, if you had to go somewhere, you had to march. Now, if you had roads, good roads, then that also facilitated the movement of the military, made it easier for the military to move from one place to another. So if you can imagine, if there was some trouble in the south of Italy, then legions could more easily be brought there, given that they had a road like this and a road system that connected different parts of the empire. Okay, moving on. Let me just show you this. These are wheels uh, that were discovered in Spain, the Roman water wheels. Okay, we believe that there was a copper mine. There were copper mines in Rio Tinto in Spain, um, and here you can see that it's man-powered. So people actually stepped on them so that they would move. Okay, and here on the left, you can see that things like this were actually part of a more complex system. Okay, so as far as we understand, it's possible that they were using these things to either bring water up. So if you were mining and you were digging deeper into the earth, so you would find water there, so you would bring water up. And or at the same time you could also bring up the things that you were able to extract from the ground. Okay, so you can imagine that it went deeper and deeper, so you had wheels like this so that you could bring up water and or the things that you were mining, so you would be able to bring them up to the ground. Just to give you an idea where Rio Tinto is, where those copper mines were. So here, uh, if you zoom out, so you see France, Spain, Portugal. You zoom in, it's here. This part of this region was called Lusitania before in Roman times, and Rio Tinto is there towards the south of Spain. Okay, these still exist. You can see them in Syria. These are water wheels. What were they for? They were called Norayas. They were for water distribution. Okay, they were probably built around 400 CE or 80. We have an idea about this because there's some mosaic in Apamea, which was done in created in 469 CE, depicting this. So we have a more or less good idea what this was. Now, moving on, the hypocaust. This is a great Roman invention. So you can imagine that given that the Roman Empire was vast, some places in the empire were colder than others, at least in certain times of the year. So if you lived in those colder places, you would want warmth during the fall or the winter, or some parts of spring. So you needed heating. So the Romans actually devised a way to warm up their places, their houses. So the hypocaust was this device. Okay, it means, looking at it etymologically, it means place heated from below. So the heat comes from a furnace. So you have wood there. You would burn the wood. You would start a fire, burn the wood. That's below. That this can be also something that's accessible from the outside of the house. So that's the furnace, like a fireplace. And then smoke and heat would go to these areas here. So the heat coming from the furnace would come in and then would heat up the floor. And also along the wall, you would have vents or holes that go up along the wall so that the walls are also heated. Okay, they also warm up. So you have wall flues there, these small vents. So the floor became warm as well as the walls. Great invention. As we already said, the Romans were great. They were good at being engineers and architects. They weren't really philosophers, poets like the Greeks, although they also had those. They're better known as engineers and architects. So, an example of a good, memorable Roman product of architecture is the Pantheon. Okay, Pantheon meaning all the gods. So you went in there to worship all the gods. It was built in 120 CE or AD by Emperor Hadrian. It has the largest unreinforced concrete dome in the world. That means there's no other support. In some cases you would have a beam here and you know things like support, like metal support or wooden support that would hold up the roof or the dome, but here you don't have those things. Okay, and Rome would eventually become Christian, and so would the Pantheon in 608 or 609 CE or AD became a Christian church. This is an important structure. You can still see it in Rome. It's like we said before, it's there. You can visit it. You can go in. This is the best preserved temple in Rome. As you can see, the dome is quite wide. It's 43.4 meters in diameter. We don't exactly know all the ingredients that went into the material that was used to build this. We know that they used concrete, cement. We also know that they used pumice or volcanic rock. Okay, turn it to ash. That was mixed in with the concrete, but the other ingredients we don't know. Just because this, you will come back to this in S4 history when you talk about the Renaissance, I might as well talk about some of the architectural elements here. This triangular structure in front, this is called the pediment. Now here, that horizontal strip where you have the inscription, something is written on there, that's the frieze. The portico, it's this, entirety. That's the roof supported by the columns. Okay? So that's the portico right there. Okay, that's about it. I hope that was clear. I suppose the big takeaway after these discussions of Roman architecture is that the Romans were really good at, they were really good at, building things. They were very practical. Whatever they learned from other civilizations, they were able to apply um, to everyday situations in order to solve their own needs, their own problems. Okay, I hope that is clear. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next class. Goodbye.